The sun hadn't even risen when I heard it, the faint hiss of an aerosol can. At 6 a.m., I stepped out of my cabin cruiser and froze. Neon orange letters, 8 inches tall, ran like dripping blood across 38 feet of flawless white fiberglass. My uncle's pride and joy, the Belliner 3270 he'd kept pristine through 30 Colorado winters, had become a mobile billboard of shame. The spray paint can still lay on the dock, fumes stinging my nose. Whoever did this wanted me to know, wanted me to feel their contempt. I'm Marcus Blackwood, 52, retired Navy logistics officer. After 2 decades supplying carriers around the globe, I'd been stuck in a cramped San Diego apartment, losing weekends with my 15-year-old daughter Sage to awkward silences. Then my uncle Ezra died and left me his lakefront cottage on Alpine Lake, a clear water haven carved into the Rockies in the 1940s. Thick logs, riverstone fireplace, hand-carved dock unblemished for 40 years, debt-free living in a world built to keep you paying forever. It felt like hitting the lottery. Alpine Lake is a hidden gem, 300 acres of water so pure you see trout in 30 feet of depth, ringed by towering pines. 47 homes dot the shoreline, luxury cars, manicured lawns, magazine-worthy docks. The Lakeside Estates HOA collected $350 a month to maintain community standards. Standards set by Delilah Thornfield, 58, former corporate HR enforcer turned HOA president for life. She ruled from an $800,000 glass house opposite my rustic cabin, her white BMW X7 parked like a trophy. She'd issued 127 violations in 2 years, measuring grass blades with rulers, timing dog walks with stopwatches, snapping violation photos with forensic obsession. 2 families had already fled. On my second morning, I was savoring coffee at sunrise when I heard her heels click across my dock. "Your boat creates unsightly ripples," she declared, clipboard in hand. "It disturbs our lake aesthetic." My uncle's boat had proper registration and insurance. "I'm within my rights," I said. Her smile snapped the dock planks. "We'll see about that." Thus began psychological warfare disguised as community concern, certified notices, lawyer, threats, an anonymous county complaint accusing me of unlicensed commercial operation, and a neighbor petition claiming my diesel engine shattered serenity like a chainsaw concert. After the vandalism, I switched into Navy mode, Mission 1, Courthouse Reconnaissance. 6 hours in a basement archive smelling of mildew digging through HOA covenants, standard suburban tyranny, grass height limits, approved paint colors, until I found Section 12, original owner's grandfathered riparian rights. Back in my military days, I learned to spot hidden breakthroughs in routine paperwork. This felt like discovering enemy submarine coordinates. Next, I fortified my dock. 4 night vision cameras, motion-activated floodlights, cloud backups no HOA president could hack. Deputy Rodriguez, a weathered local cop with battlefield scars, photographed every drip of orange paint and bagged paint samples like evidence in a war crime. "These HOA dictators are getting bolder," he said. I hand-delivered a demand letter, $3,500 for repairs, an end to harassment, and a formal apology. Delilah responded by calling an emergency board meeting, proposing a covenant amendment banning watercraft over 25 feet or older than 10 years. My boat would instantly become contraband. She printed flyers warning of ecological catastrophe, claimed my gentle wake was decimating fish populations, and organized neighbors to photograph my excessive wake violations. 3 adults armed with cameras waited for me to cruise at turtle pace so they could pounce. While organizing Ezra's basement, I discovered a box labeled property papers. Inside, deeds, surveys, correspondence, legal layers going back to 1923. One yellow deed declared riparian ownership to the high water mark and perpetual rights to lake usage. My instincts screamed that this century-old document was the key to victory. Neighbors began confiding in me. Retired teacher Beth Morrison paid $15,000 in HOA fines for her tomato plants. Vietnam vet Jim Santos was fined $2,000 for painting his mailbox the wrong green with a color wheel as evidence. Delilah systematically targeted independent owners, weaponized covenants, and forced them out. She was a serial neighborhood executioner, and I had become her latest victim, but I had military training. While she burned HOA funds on pointless lawsuits, I built a legal arsenal. I recorded meetings, saved every notice, and uncovered navigational servitude doctrine. Waterway usage trumps local busybody rules. I learned Alpine Lake was artificial, dammed in 1918 by my great-great-grandfather Silas Blackwood. Silas's deed retained all water and lakebed rights, never sold or surrendered. The 1985 developer who formed Lakeside Estates assumed those rights but never legally acquired them. For 38 years, the HOA had been collecting lake fees without authority, akin to charging tolls on someone else's private road. I hired a surveyor who revealed my cottage extended 30 feet further into the lake than anyone realized. Delilah's meditation pavilion sat entirely on my property. She was waging war from ground she didn't own. HOA financials showed legal fees skyrocketing while maintenance spending plummeted. Delilah funneled assessments into her vendettas. Our resistance network swelled. 12 neighbors who'd secretly documented her abuses, security footage, recorded threats, harassing letters. Together with my attorneys Sarah Chen and Michael Rodriguez, we built a case that would bankrupt the HOA if necessary. Unjust enrichment claims for $847,000 in illegally collected fees, trespass damages for 4 decades of unauthorized structures, and environmental impact studies never done. Potential liability exceeded $2 million. Still, I offered a reasonable settlement, a 30-day licensing agreement, $50 annual fee per household, removal of boat restrictions, Delilah's resignation, and democratic elections. She refused, calling emergency board meetings, proposing $50,000 defense funds, hiring private investigators to dig up character dirt on me. Every sabotage attempt, tampering with dock power, debris in my engine intake, anonymous environmental complaints, became evidence of bad faith tactics. My backup cameras captured her BMW idling at midnight during one vandalism. The final showdown took place at the crowded HOA meeting. Delilah opened with dramatic slides depicting my boat as an ecological disaster. Charts, satirical expert testimonies, a manufactured petition supporting a ban. Then I stood, calmly requested 10 minutes to respond, and projected the 1923 deed and survey maps. Every riparian right, every property boundary, every HOA structure's trespass lay bare on screen. Silence fell. I don't just have permission to use this lake, I said. I own it. Every drop of water, every inch of lakebed, every structure in the water is on my property. Gasps rippled through the room as faces went pale. Delilah's empire crumbled in real time. She screeched about forgeries and prescriptive rights. Deputy Rodriguez listened with professional interest. The media captured every moment. Board members realized their personal liability. I offered once more, $50 per year, community access preserved, all structures legalized, harassment ends tonight. Within days, Delilah and her inner circle fled in disgrace. Home values soared as buyers discovered they could live in a serene lakefront paradise free from petty tyranny. My cottage became a gathering place for apologies and celebrations. Beth Morrison brought apple pie, Jim Santos delivered bourbon, and Maria Stewart painted Waves of Freedom. A local newspaper story went viral. Navy veteran reclaims private lake, dismantles HOA dictatorship, inspires homeowners nationwide. We established the Alpine Lake Conservation Scholarship, $5,000 annually for students in environmental science and property law. State legislators passed the HOA Accountability Act, forcing associations to prove authority before imposing restrictions. Our case became required reading in law schools and a beacon for communities fighting overreach. Today I sit on the dock each morning with my coffee, watching sunrise gild the mountains. My boat's gentle ripples spread across a lake I legally own but share freely with neighbors. Sage spends her summers here, learning to fish and dock boats instead of doom scroll on her phone. The American flag flies from our stern not as provocation but as a symbol of rights defended and communities restored. If you've ever tangled with a petty HOA tyrant, drop your nightmare in the comments. This is HOA Stories, where suburban despots meet their match. If you'd like more stories like these, please like and subscribe.